All right, we'd like to welcome you all again to Transform You, where we do live life coaching. And today we have a wonderful guest, Joseph Jacobson. And welcome, Joseph. Won't you introduce yourself and tell us what you would like to work on?
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. So I'm Joe Jacobson. I am out of Dallas, Texas. I am a mindset, fitness, nutrition coach, as well as a sales manager in a residential solar company, the largest company in the country for residential solar, Freedom Forever. And so my question is, how did you start your coaching businesses while already having a career?
Well, that's a good question. So is that something that you're working on right now, is trying to figure out how all to make all that work?
Yeah. So because my own transformation, just about a year ago was actually an alcoholic, drug addict. I was in solar, but I wasn't having very much success, obviously, because I had a hard time connecting with people. So I'll do a little background story. So I've been in sales my whole life, mostly for um, like phone sales, cold calling, advertising. And in that boiler room culture, you have a lot of vices. So I kind of picked up bad habits, drinking, drugs, and I wanted to get into I wanted to get into direct sales because it was just, uncapped commission. But I wasn't in the right headspace. I just had too many bad habits. And so within a year, I've done just a whole transformation. I went from broke to now being a sales manager in one of the fastest growing areas for solar, which is Dallas Fort Worth. And we have a very fast growing squad. And so I've also gone from broke to making tens of thousands of dollars a month just within a year of implementing the right habits, getting my mind, body right. And so I'm looking to help other people who can, I mean, you can't wake up overnight in a different, with a different life, but you can change your direction overnight.
Yeah.
And through consistency, you can really completely transform your life within a year. So that's what I'm trying to help people understand. Um, but yeah, so with solar going so well, and with coaching, let me ask you, how long were you guys building the foundation for coaching before, it really started to take off for you?
Well, in that process, we've been therapists. I've been a therapist since 1989,
Year I
and
was born.
yeah, and I've been sober since 1983. So through that process, for myself, is that I became, coaching was new, and let's see, our son's 25, so he was 2 years old. So for 23 years ago, we took a course called Coach U, and it was an extensive course on how to become a coach, because going from a therapist to a coach, it was like just different language. And so in that process, we already had a company and a business, so we had been doing this. And then integrating, what we realized was we were really doing a lot of coaching through our therapeutic process. And I think that, being for us, it's the intention of the heart, going for it, and, people seeing results. So it's in their results and empowering them to realize it's the work that they did. And then they send more people. So, I've been in private practice since 1991. So for a very long time, and been cash pay the whole time. So through that process, it would in a lot before the internet, it was all word of mouth. And now you have the internet and how people find you, and all these different ways. But I do think, for myself and for Dean, if I can speak for him, he can correct me if I'm not right on this. But in the process of that, it is also living what I teach. I don't teach things I don't live. So it's always very, very authentic. It's very real. I can't, you can't be afraid of man. You can't do it for the dollar.
Mhm.
You have to understand your worth, and then, about money. But on the other hand, you got to know what people are paying for. But on the other hand, for me, it's about being authentic and being real and telling the truth on what I see to help them love themselves better. So, in that, it's like you can change. People can change. People change all the time. I mean, if you're stagnant, you're boring and, your life is no fun. So changing is important. So what I would like to ask you is like in the change that you've made in that year, yeah, laying down the drugs, the alcohol, the bad habits, but what was it in your character that you saw that changed, that made you want to be a giver versus a taker?
So part of that had to do with the kind of miracle of like exercise and nutrition in terms of neurochemistry. So I was actually getting off methamphetamine, which is just such a toxic substance that, I mean, you're depressed for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And when I joined an online coaching program that got me into the gym daily and tracking macronutrients, the speed at which I felt normal,
Mm-hmm.
I knew that I had to share that because one of the reasons people always go back to such a toxic substance is it just messes with your neurochemistry in such a severe way.
Yeah.
And the fact that I could feel normal so quickly, I mean, 2 weeks into sobriety, I knew that, I had to share this. Um, and then to answer your question, it was regarding character. I found that it's consistency that will change you. And so it doesn't really matter if it's just 50 push-ups a day. What you do occasionally impacts you none of the time. And so through the consistency of going to the gym, even on days where you don't feel like it, tracking macronutrients, so wanting every day to be a cheat day, but deciding not to do it as such so that your body actually responds to the weight training. So you can drop body fat, gain muscle, and when you look in the mirror, you're literally a different person. You're proud of yourself. Your tone, your yeah. If in my case, I wanted to gain muscle and didn't realize, I was like skinny fat. I had a lot of fat to drop, and so once you can through consistency look in the mirror and see a different person. I mean, it's consistency that'll make the different person. And then when you're looking at them in the mirror, you just have so much momentum, and everything is momentum, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think Joe that your greatest asset, and you're talking about originally the question was about building a coaching practice. Your greatest asset, as it seems like you're aware of, is your transformational story, right?
Mhm.
And I'm a big believer that our greatest secrets and our greatest hurts are meant to become our greatest treasures.
Are you ready for a journey of self discovery and healing? Introducing A Roadmap to the Soul, a practical guide to love, compassion, and inner peace. This book offers practical tools and insights to navigate your inner landscape, release emotional blockages, and embrace your authentic self. Start your transformational journey today by getting your copy now. See the link in the description. And now, back to the lesson.
They're meant to be transformed. And so we've all, Holly, Kim, and I have had our own battle with addiction and addiction systems and so forth, and have broken free from that for decades and decades, over 30
Yeah.
years. Yet, even though at one time that was the thing that caused the most suffering in our lives, it was the thing that caused the most shame, it was the most embarrassing thing in our lives, and it's been transformed. And from that transformation has become our life's work that we've been able to give to others. And now we say it's our treasure. And so, there's questions on how do you monetize that? There's questions on how do you package that? But at the same time, that's been the heart of why we've been very effective because it's been teaching people the transformational journey that we've been on. Now, the other thing is even on a deeper level than that, and that's part of our coaching, is the to really work hard on creating a strong foundation physically, emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually.
Mhm.
That that needs to be in place in order for your success to be sustained
Right.
over the long run. And some people say, "Well, y'all been successful. It seems like overnight success." No, it's not. It's not. We've been working on this for a long time. We've been laboring, but I do find that at its root, um, we have the part of us that we say would be the part that's the addictive part. That needs to really, we really need to be vigilant about working on that because the the most common the most common solution for an addiction is another addiction.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
until we really create a strong spiritual foundation, we can't really break out of that. So I can go from a drug to work, or I can go to from compulsive work to compulsive gambling, or they're on down the line.
Right.
And so
There's a list, right?
there's a list. There's a list.
We all have seen it.
And I think I love the approach that you're really approaching it on different levels, dealing with
Right.
that's an amazing thing that to be on meth and then all of a sudden doing this rapid, accelerated
Mhm.
reparation of your brain chemistry and of your physical body,
Yes.
which I think that's a huge market in itself because
Yeah.
there's so many people that really need that. And I would add, in addition to that, it really needs to be coupled with the other levels,
Mhm.
the emotional maturity, the strong spiritual foundation, dealing with the psychological distortions. And when you have it on all those levels, that's when you can have sustained success over a long period of time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead, Joe.
Oh no, I love that, especially when you mentioned psychological distortions. Do you mean the lies we tell ourselves
Yeah.
about what
Yeah.
we actually want?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
when we're settling, because things
Yeah.
are hard, and so we're like, oh, I don't actually want to be completely jacked. I just want to look a little bit better, even though no, you want to be jacked. You want to be, yeah, you said you wanted to be ripped.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the concept, and perhaps Holly Kim could talk about it. The way we approach, won't you talk about how we approach recovery in terms of the voices
Sure.
and tie that in?
Sure. Well, the way we look at it in the way that, God showed it to me to make me understand what was happening. And then, in recovery, after so many years, like you get triggered, right? You just get triggered in the world, right? Your emotional stuff gets jolted. And then, the message internally is that I didn't do enough work. I haven't worked hard enough, right? It's kind of like working out and, you eat a little something and then, something's a little out of shape and you go, oh my God, I thought I was working out so good. I thought I was eating healthy. But in that, it's, the hopelessness can come back in. So in that, it's like there's a true self of who we really, really are. And that, what I see in you is you have the ability to be disciplined. You have the ability to see a good product and be able to formulate it, to communicate that. You have the ability to know that you are worthy. You have the ability to also communicate that, and to understand that you are worth being paid for your knowledge. Okay. So just being with you a few minutes, I can see that in your truth, that's who you are. And I know there's a lot more. And then there's the wound of what other people do to us. And then what do we do to ourselves to hurt us? So we all have a wounded part of us. And then as we get wounded in life, we all figure out a way to deal with that wound. And it's not our true self. And so we sedate it. We, we cover it up, we pretend, we become workaholics, we become a lot of things. Okay. In your case and in my case, we become sedators, in the medical, in the substance, right? So we're sedating the pain. But unfortunately, when you sedate the pain, you also sedate the true self. So then one day we wake up, right, Joe? We wake up and then where am I? Who am I? I don't even know this person anymore. Now everybody believes that that is truly who I am because that's who's been showing up to my job, to my life, to my family, and even to me, right? So now I've been fooled that that's who I am. So in our process, what we teach is how to dissect that, right? Now, the issue is what most people want from us is like, okay, how can I kill the other two?
Mhm.
I just want to get rid of those two, right?
Yeah.
Well, they're a part of us. It's like it's what happened to me, what I did to myself, and then also how I've handled that in an unhealthy manner. Not that I've
Yeah.
handled every single thing in an unhealthy manner, but I'm looking at the stuff that I did. So as
Right.
I continue to dig deep on that and take my power back from those, it's really truly also understanding that those two parts are still there and that it's real easy for my protector to want to handle things differently than I do and to learn how to catch it when it moves into that area. And then also knowing that there's some rocks in that bucket of woundedness that, each rock needs 100% of love for it to melt, right? But, there's probably 50 in there that maybe only got 50% to, 10% of love. And so they don't go anywhere.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
yeah.
So for the rest of my life, I have to learn when the trigger happens is that it's about me and how do I go in and love those rocks that are jumping.
Yeah.
And so my protective self does not take me to a place of sedation, even though I may say, my true self says, I will never give it meth. I will never give it cocaine. I will never give it alcohol. I
Mhm.
will never give it any of these things. But it still finds a way to sedate those rocks, right? So in that, for me, it's like, what is true success? When you were asking, like, how do you become successful? How do you charge the money that you charge? And how do you get paid cash on that? And, because what I have chosen to do for the last 42 years is to continue to love those rocks and
Nice.
to catch myself, to catch my protective self when it's moving into an area that it's like it takes my gifts and moves it to an area that becomes unhealthy for me.
Mhm.
And so also learning how to love that part of me, right? But with no power. So, success is that Holly Kim gets to show up to the podcast. Holly Kim gets to show up in her life. She gets to show up in her marriage, parenting, with her
Mhm.
friends, with her clients. And then that is what became successful, I'd have to say, is that I show up, and when I don't, I know what to do to go back and make sure that I come back to the table. And then I've got to rectify anything that was out of line from who I really am and my morals and what I believe. Because
Mhm.
as we know, one part, and like you even said, one part of you doesn't want to go to the gym, but your true self says I'm going, right?
Yeah.
But it's like it's not just about that, it's about a lot of subjects that we have that on. So it's the continuation of growing in that area that when someone comes to me as yourself or anyone else is that I'm open to hear because I'm going to get triggered by your issues as
Mhm.
the coach. There's no way around it. All
Yeah.
right. Somebody's going to come up with something that one of these rocks that still needs some love, right? And if
Mhm.
I am
Well,
not willing to do the work or haven't done the work, then I'm going to shut you down and you're not going to get what you need
Yeah.
because I can't
yeah.
hear it. So where the problem comes in doing the work, being the person that is being privileged to hold your hand through this, is that I can never stop working on myself because if I do, I'm not effective.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
If we slip, they fall.
Yes. Yes. Because they're entrusting us. And one of the big things that they're entrusting, they don't realize it. And a lot of times the person that's the coach doesn't realize it, is that they're entrusting that I'm going to do my work, and that when I get triggered, I can use the skills that I'm teaching you to put it aside for a little while, because it's not about me, and be here, and then go back in and do what I got to do. So the next session, I am better prepared, and I have loved those rocks that were jumping. So they jump a lot less
Yeah.
over and over and over and over of time. So I can stay in my true self in the present. The goal is, 80 to 90 something percent in my life. And
Yeah.
especially when I'm in this situation.
Yeah, and I would say there's a broader definition, I think a deeper definition of success, deeper definition of building a
A
really
company.
successful
Yeah.
practice. The difference between the part of us that is the unhealthy coping behaviors, or perhaps in your case, the part of you that used meth, right, is and the part of you that wants to give
Yes.
based on the experiences and the transformation
Yes.
that you have. The fundamental difference is one is a taker and the
Hmm.
other is a giver.
Yeah.
And and long sustained successful businesses are based on the motivation of I'm giving.
Hmm.
I'm giving something of value. I'm giving and I will be compensated for that because I'm giving. It's a big difference than a taker,
Hmm.
that I'm approaching things to where I'm going to do whatever I got to do to get my need met so that I can take from you. Then that's a whole different, in a sense, business model kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think the beauty is that what is it that we get into when we say we get into some type of recovery process or breaking free? We're actually recovering
Hmm.
the ability to become truly a giver and no longer absorbed in the taking.
Right.
Mhm.
And when we get into that place, then success comes. It comes. The way we package it, the way we place value upon it, that all varies. But when that fundamental is there in terms of I'm now moved into being a giver, then that's your foundation for business.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the great, have you ever read the book, The Go-Giver, or heard about it?
No, I haven't.
No.
Oh, it's just this character Joe. He's a real go-getter, but his journey is being taught how to go give, and then that's when everything he's hoping for he receives once he
Wow.
goes out and gives.
That's
Go be a
it.
go-giver.
That's so it.
That's so it.
Yeah. That's so it.
Well, we just have a few more minutes. I know we kind of delved into some different areas. What is it? Let's each talk about our takeaway, and then we'll have Joe introduce himself.
Sure.
Which
You
will
want
be
me
your
to?
takeaway?
Yeah. My takeaway is that your determination, Joe. Being a recovering addict, and being in the midst of that for years, is a lot of people don't understand what it takes internally to say no, to have something that strong pull you to a depths of, you know, of who we're really not at all. And your determination to come out of that, and then your determination to stay out and to give, is very, very powerful. And that you will not only be successful in that, where you are, as finding out who Joe is and becoming him and then staying him, is that your success will be that you will bless and help many people. It's very important.
Yeah.
And you're doing it on all, the physical is the first thing that you saw the rewards, obviously. But now it's like being able to reclaim every single thing that
Yeah.
God has intended you to have.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
What's going to be your takeaway, Joe?
Um, no, this was very helpful. I really liked the what you had said about that our clients trigger us, and that without giving the love to the issues, to the rocks, essentially, that we won't be able to give our full selves. But yeah, yeah, this was no, this was really great. It helped me a lot for just remembering. This is one of the days where I was kind of like exhausted, a little more exhausted. There's it's hard to get people to want to be better, even if they're, you know, um, even if they say they want to. It's like to keep them on the path. It can be exhausting. So yeah, this helped a lot to just remember, like, build the foundation on all the parts of me that I'm still looking to give more love to as well, because that's how it will be sustained.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And
That's
Yeah.
it. You
Yeah.
got
That was
it.
my takeaway is it's amazing how you in your recovery have really had an acceleration
Mhm.
faster than most people
Right.
in the physical dimension of brain chemistry restoration, body restoration. And my hope
And financially.
and
Yeah.
financially. My hope and prayer for you is that you're able to accelerate on all
Yeah.
those levels, on the other levels for sustaining spiritually, emotionally, psychologically.
Yeah.
Not to say that you haven't,
Right.
but I would say that would be my wish and hope for you is that you find the acceleration on all those
Yeah.
levels so
mm,
that you can have a real strong foundation for your bright future, which is very bright. So I commend you on
Yeah.
the wonderful changes that you've
thank you so
made.
much.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, I really appreciate that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us about
Yeah.
yourself and ways of contacting you in case someone's interested. And yeah,
Yeah, so my most of my business is built off Instagram. So my handle is going to be selfgen_fit. Self-gen is a solar term. It means to go out and self-generate leads, to go knock doors, see if people need help with backup batteries or their power bill, and then finding them the best solution. So it's a combination of solar and fitness to build the best version of yourself. So selfgen_fit on Instagram. You could also email me at selfgenfit@gmail.com.
That's so
well, that's great.
good.
Well, Joe,
Yay.
it's a pleasure meeting you,
Yes.
and man, we wish you plenty of success. You're
Yes.
well on the road, and we can both see that. And
Mhm.
for our audience, thank you all for joining us here at Transform You. And until next time,
Have a voice. I have a voice.
Are you ready to embark on a journey of personal transformation and inner healing? Our intensive online coaching program is designed for individuals and couples seeking to reconnect with their true selves. Dive into our lessons, activations, live coaching calls, and educational readings tailored to uncover limiting beliefs, healing emotional wounds, and to cultivate a life filled with authenticity. Transform yourself, transform your relationships. It's time to transform you. See the description below to see how to join Transform You.